Alright everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the F123 Drive Home with Haas, episode number 3 today for the Australian Grand Prix of Season 1. If you missed the previous episode at Jeddah, I recommend you go and check that one out before seeing this one, because, spoiler, it was another 8th place finish as well, holding on in the end with some warm tyres. Its tyre wear was pretty high there. I'm hoping at Melbourne the tyre wear is less severe and we can move forwards. Now, one thing we've got to do is repurchase some R&D upgrade, because they're all failing at the moment. You might as well not bother. We're going to purchase this one, it's probably going to fail as well, and there we are.
Cannot be serious.
So yeah, I'm going to have to repurchase all of these. Fortunately, there is a little bit of a gap to get these in, some of these on before Bahrain, but some of them will come afterwards, like this rear downforce upgrade, that's going to fail. The tyre wear upgrade, that's probably going to fail as well. But there is a big gap between Australia and Baku in the calendar. There should be more than enough time to get the upgrades we need on the car. Speaking of where we are compared to everyone else, we've jumped ahead of McLaren, which is, they are a huge rival for us. Still slightly behind Alpine, but Alpine really haven't turned up so far as well. Mercedes jump Aston Martin, or rather move ahead of Aston Martin, really clear towards Ferrari. That's really most of the only big changes there, with other teams bringing minor upgrades. But we're here in qualifying. It's the first day, qualifying, I should say, of this career mode. We're back in Australia. Got a bit interesting in qualifying when Alex Albon managed to retire when he was in the pits, and I was the only person out on track. So don't know how that managed to happen, but anyway, first lap a bit more competitive this time, only down in P14, slight behind K-Mag, but I'm hoping we can both have a good second lap here. We're already 2.5 tenths up, 3 tenths up as we go through the car park into the wrath of the end of the first sector. 4 tenths up as we approach the end of the first sector. 4 and a bit tenths up on our previous best time. Piastri's only P15, showing McLaren not necessarily having the pace today as well. 5 tenths up now on our previous best time. As well, I think setup is very crucial, by the way, on this game. I'm discovering, if you've got a horrible setup, then you can lose that back end. That's especially as well to try and find a setup that doesn't have that back end step out so much. Then, especially at tracks like this as well, then you can make so much time up compared to your previous best time, and also potentially against the AI through those slower speed corners as well. Well, we're 7 tenths up now on the previous best time, just to show that the previous time, the track evolution as well, newer tyres across the line. I think that is P9. It is P9, so we're in the top 10 again. Ocon has got a penalty as well. It's actually Carlos Sainz who's on pole. Can he convert that into a win? We'll have to wait and see about that. Magnus is up there as well, so this is good for us. This is good for Haas. We're ahead of both Alpines. We've been out-qualified by Lando Norris, but we're going to gang up on him at the start as well. And Ocon was the one apparently that took out Albon somehow in the pits. Don't know how that happened. So, yeah, well, we'll see what we can do from 9th place. It's time for the race day's Australian Grand Prix.
It's been a tough couple of years for this venue. We really missed Albert Park. It is a warm welcome back to the Australian Grand Prix. We first raced here in Albert Park back in 1996. It's 3.2 miles, 14 turns now instead of the original 16, part of a larger redevelopment to encourage overtaking. The drivers enjoyed it in 2022. It retains the landmarks, the bumps, the challenge, but there's more opportunity to attack with those 5 corners to the left and the 9 to the right. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position. Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Hamilton, Perez, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Norris, Phoenix, Magnussen, Gasly, Bottas, Stroll, Joe, Oscar Piastri, De Vries, Ocon, Sargent, Albon and Yuki Tsunoda. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. And it is great to be joined once again in the commentary box by Natalie Pinkham. Nat, how has the sport changed in your time working in it? Now, I want to talk to you about Carlos Sainz.
What a quality performance. The big question, though, is how does that translate on race day? Can they hold on to that lead? So we're in for an exciting start, I'm sure, and then they'll all settle down a bit, try and find a rhythm as they plan the next phase of the Grand Prix. It's important to know when to push and when to hold back so as not to overcook those tyres early on.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
And that's the same message that has been played since F1 2020. Well, race strategy, though, is going to be a one-stop. Now, I did think about doing what we did in Jeddah, about starting on mediums and ending on... starting on hard and ending on medium. But decided to go against that this time, purely because of what happened at the end in Jeddah, where the hard tyre runners were actually the tyre to be on at the end there, and not the mediums. It is slightly slower comparing the two strategies. So on the hard, starting on the hards, we've got people starting the softs, so we'll see how we get on. 5 red lights are out and away we go. And it's a good start. We're going to try and get Alonso here on the start. He's had a horrible start on his soft tyres as well. Round the outside, although then there's Magnussen. Magnussen had the inside line through turn 1, and K-Mag has had a good start and he's up to P7. As Hamilton has also had a good start from 4th on the grid, has got all of them and has the lead of the Australian Grand Prix. Crucially from a team point of view, as we have a little look at K-Mag at turn 3, nothing doing there. We are both ahead of Lando Norris, so this is good in our fight with McLaren. Piastri isn't going to be scoring points, but Norris is going to be a bit of tyre banging there. At the end of that corner, they seem to have a good run out of this corner, because I hate that corner. It is one of the world's worst corners. Here's a replay there of a bit of tyre banging there, and in the end we just managed to get in front of Norris, and Alonso there is having a go at Norris as well, although Norris has another go again. I think that run with that second DRS is going to be horrible. Now Alonso's in front of Norris. We're just trying to defend, really. Haven't got the pace to Magnussen, really, which, again, the rear end stepping out there. There was a bit of contact with Alonso, who's now up to P9. He's on the soft tyres. Is he doing a 2-stop or is he doing a 1-stop? There's contact there again. So he tried to turn in like I wasn't there, I think. We'll get a replay on board with Fernando. It's a poor exit there. And then, well, the line just tightens up, and then there's more contact with Norris, and I think he loses his front wing there, and Alonso is in for an early stop. Might be on a 2-stop. Norris having a go at us there, but unable to do it. Meanwhile, up at the front, it's the big battle for second place between the two Red Bulls and George Russell. Hamilton is cruising out in front as well. But for how long will Verstappen turn it up a notch as well? We'll have to wait and see. But Norris is trying to turn it up a notch and get past us, but we're not having any of that. To say all this battling with Norris is costing us time to Magnussen. But then I don't have the pace around here. The setup that I have, I think, was just a basic setup, and it wasn't doing what I needed the setup to be doing through the slower speed corners. On the back end was just stepping out left, right and centre, which is just losing time everywhere compared to the AI. So yeah, well, we've made our pit stop then. Leclerc is also doing a 2-stop because he's on softs. There's Alonso who is ahead of both myself and Magnussen as well. I get the feeling that both Well, Leclerc definitely has to stop again because it's too early in the race to go the end on softs. Not sure about Alonso. Might he try and egg it out? We'll have to wait and see. But he's got a long way on those mediums if he wants to do a one-stop on there. As Magnussen goes down the inside with a bit of DRS to help him with overtake. They're side by side through the corner, but Alonso is able to hold on. But there is Fernando turning right into the pit lane. So as I suspected, Alonso is doing a two-stop. So we'll have to watch him how he progresses, because he'll be on either soft or medium tyres, better than our hard tyres as well. And he's given front wing damage to Magnussen, so we have the opportunity to catch Magnussen for P6, because of course Leclerc has also made his second stop and has come out a long way behind. Don't know, usual Ferrari nonsense there. Sainz has managed to jump both Russell and Perez there, but Hamilton is leading, but Verstappen is reeling him in. The gap is coming down slowly. The question is, can Hamilton hold on to that gap between himself as Verstappen's escaped from the battles behind? Now, someone who isn't going to be battling anymore is Yuki Tsunoda, because he is out of the race with an engine failure. His AlphaTauri, which is the worst car on this grid, is decided he doesn't want to do anything anymore. As we've got an engine issue, we're stuck in lean revs, and Mark hasn't told me anything. As far as he's concerned, that's fine. Yeah, that's cost us 6th place. I feel, because Magnussen was struggling as well. There's a lot of tyre banging with Norris. That's going to, that lean thing allowed Norris to get past, especially a power circuit like this. Tyre banging there, and now Magnussen's escaped 3 seconds ago. Norris trying to overtake under yellow flags, which he shouldn't be really doing. So I mean, he's actually lost out to Stroll in that case. As well, Stroll on the mediums, he's again doing that one stop, and again look at that drift on the rear end. As well, I'll get a replay, because this is the replay. I want to show you this replay just to show how ridiculous this looks. Look at that drift. I'm almost sideways on the exit of that corner on this game. It should not be like that personally, but there we go. As well, Norris has got back in front of Stroll, and Gasly has also got in front of Stroll. I think Stroll's tyres are going off, and the soft medium strategy isn't looking good, especially for Perez, who did the soft medium and is now in 5th place, although he is comfortably ahead. We've let Gasly go here. Gasly got in front of Norris with a bit of DRS. Now I'm trying to see what we've got with DRS. Haven't got much ERS to play for. An ERS upgrade is definitely on the cards. Just see what we can do, but we have in the game the best engine, the Haas and the Ferrari, but the Ferrari powered Haas has the best engine. Now it's just about making sure we got the DRS. It took to the end of the second DRS zone. You get it's one activation of both of those DRS zones, by the way, just to note as well. So there's only 2 activation zones on the whole track, as Gasly are going turn 1 on the final lap. But that is actually going to give us a nice chunky 1.4 second breathing room, and it's not going to last. To be honest, my gearbox is also, and turbocharger are also starting to wear, and for this race I actually had to put in new components for the ICE, the MGH, and the already. So an engine penalty is coming at some point. But we have survived, ladies and gentlemen. Again, for P7, best result of the season, somehow, even though it was dreadful. We lost out, I wanted to be where K-Mag was. If we were where K-Mag was, we could have, fought ahead. Perez, the top 5 were far too far in front. That is a massive gulf between, 5th and 6th place there. And it's only because Alonso with his 2-stop Alonso potentially could have been in front, but again, tyre wear. We saw Stroll drop off at the end. I'm sure that in actual fact, almost got taken by his teammate at the end there. as well. But you know, Leclerc's two stop was dreadful because he only finished 16th for Leclerc. Ferrari well and truly botched that strategy as well. So in terms of the Drivers' Championship, we remain in P8. Magnussen is now moved up to P9 as well. Verstappen beat Hamilton in the end on the penultimate lap, I think, as well. And Red Bull are comfortable in the championship to 19 points to Mercedes. But for us, we've got some 320 resource points. Apparently, it was an issue with our Sashi for the engine problem. I don't know how that works, but anyway, we will invest. Of course, the Sashi is a big area of investment. The next race at Baku, it's taken a little while to record because it's a sprint race, so it might not be out this week. It might be out next week as well, because it's a sprint race and the extra race is taking a long time, extra time to record, of course. And as well, and don't forget, it is the old format of sprint, not the new format for that as well. And then Monaco will be out as well next week. I'm not looking forward to that. So yeah, if you have enjoyed this episode, leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. See plenty more F123 driver crew mode videos as and when they come out. Until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care, thanks so much for watching, enjoy your day, and goodbye.